Morning, everyone. Team Dave Meltzer, where are you? Shelly, welcome. Let me know where you're coming in from. Hey, Alex, Samir, welcome, welcome, welcome. Not as tight as yours, Samir, the hair, but got a friend over here. Little backyard cuts going on. My own haircut barbery. Let's get some questions going. What's going on, everybody? Don't you want to learn? Let's get some questions. Team Dave Meltzer. Don't forget Friday's training. Invite your friends, family, and associates. It's always at 11 a.m. and it's on quitting. And I think it's going to be really, really good. In fact, I know it will be. And if you miss it, you can catch the replay. Everybody here. Let's see here. There's Team Dave Meltzer. Oh, Justin Pugh is waking. What about that? Whoa, I didn't mean to join Team David Meltzer. How do I cancel that? Ah, boy. Don't. Let's see. There we go. I'm learning how to use Instagram. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where are we coming in from, everybody? We got some questions coming in. Toronto. Hey, Ray. What's going on? Ray Wang, the Olympic badminton player. You got a question for me, Ray? Huh? What's going on? What's the difference between happiness and joy? Wow, a lot of people get hung up on the word joy and say, oh, you shouldn't use happiness. Happiness is more temporary than joy. Joy is like inspiration. Happiness is like motivation. Uh, you give meaning to everything that you see. I try to keep things when I utilize descriptions uh, in uh, a vibration or a language that more people would be applicable to. So what I've heard some people um, look at is joy is like inspiration. It's sustainable. It'll get you there. Happiness is temporary, like motivation. It'll get you up, get you back up. And so there's the distinction that I've heard. I use them interchangeably. But if you're a hyper technical vibrating spectrum person, that may help you. Biggest health struggle you've ever had to overcome? I've been blessed, man. I don't get sick. I had at a young age a lot of accidents. I think um, my nose breaking when I was on homecoming court uh, was one of them. Tore a hamstring from uh, college. I've been blessed. So, health is a main concern. I'm born with extremely good genetics and extremely good attitude and perspective. And so I can't help too much there except for a broken nose and a pulled hamstring, some banged up stitches. Let's see here. How to stop taking yourself too seriously. Great question. There we go. Rule number 6. You got to practice, right? One of the best things, practice not taking yourself so seriously. So when you get upset, when you're in ego-based consciousness, ask yourself why you're taking yourself so seriously, because that's the only reason you're upset. If you don't take yourself so seriously, then you will be in a place of forgiveness, accountability, gratitude. You will allow things and have no need to be offended. Right? That's the major thing, right? Need to be resentful, offended, separate, inferior, superior. All those go with rule number 6. Will not happen if you take yourself too seriously. Um, and it's a really hard thing to do. I find myself, with all that I teach and all that I've learned, still, somebody goes the wrong way. Sometimes I take myself so seriously. What an offense. Somebody drove the wrong way, made a mistake, looked down. One of my biggest pet peeves of efficiencies with young people driving is they look down. They look down where, there's been signs for, 70 years to get you from LAX to Orange County. And, I think everyone under 30 is looking down at their GPS while they're going through an airport. And I don't know how you know what exit or terminal while you're looking down. The signs are all above you. So look up. But for some reason, I take offense to that. And I take myself so seriously and get into the kitchens of my drivers when they're looking down or aren't prepared with directions. That's a good example. And I could really send my energy off over nothing. Absolutely nothing. What was your pre-game routine before a football game when you played? Uh, I got really too stressed. I'm one of those people that got in my own way, whether it's football or baseball. when I was young, golf. I would overthink things and wear myself out beforehand, focusing. What I should have learned to do was meditate. But I would get really focused and I would visualize, over analyze. Everything was really serious. Like, I got to wake up, and, it was just, I exhausted myself. It reminds me when I was in law school and I woke up at 4 a.m. and then everything grew arms and legs. I was thinking about the whole day real fast, everything. And then by the time everybody else woke up, I was exhausted. I think I did that before all types of things that I've done. How do you make the leap of faith towards your dreams? Well, it's not a leap, right? It's not a leap. It's an allowance of faith. Allow the faith to happen. I use the analogy, there's a long um, pipe of corrosion. And when you allow it to happen, number one, you just have faith to know that it already exists, and you're clearing the path for it to come to you. And so that takes the law of Goya. It takes extreme ferociousness to clear the pipe so that can come to you. Hey, Trevor, what's going on, my friend? Hope all's well. The strong mindset of Trevor Moad joining us, the wolf of supplements. Very good. All right, let's see who's joining us today. Trevor, look at that. I like that saucy app. I don't know if you talk about the right place at the right time, but Saucy App is there. He is. What's up, man?
How are you? Good
I'm
morning.
great. Talk about genius. You are a genius, my friend. You must be killing it.
Yeah, it's going. We're very very blessed to be in a category that's doing well right now.
Yeah, so am I. But I, feel like it's overwhelming sometimes when you are in the right category. You get 400 or 500% growth. You realize maybe we don't know what we don't know, what we haven't prepared for. Sometimes
Sure.
what we dream of, we haven't prepared for. And there's these little subtleties of success that you're like, oh my God, my business is quadrupled, and now the holes start leaking really quickly. What are some of the things, and I'd love to take the perspective, first tell everyone what Saucy app does, and then tell me the biggest challenge of, and don't be guilty about it, of being in the right place, because you're one of those guys. I know you're going to be rich enough to make everyone else rich. And that's a good thing. So give us a little background on Saucy app.
Sure. We started in 2014. We had really this concept that the alcohol industry had been relatively unchanged for close to 100 years, and that the primary buying decision for alcohol was based on convenience. It's not really a planned occasion. I'm at home, it's Tuesday night, I'm watching Netflix, I feel like having a bottle of wine or whatever it may be. We thought that if we introduced fast delivery to the category, we could unlock a lot of buying behavior or consolidate a lot of buying behavior and at the same time deliver a better shopping experience to a space that historically is a little cagey to go shopping in. So we started in 2014 in Los Angeles, have spread throughout the country. Today we cover about 50 million American households. And it's been a wild ride, but I'd say through all the ups and downs, obviously right now we're seeing spectacular growth. I think from March into April, or even from February into March, we saw a 400% lift in people using the app and purchasing. So you think about taking a month's worth of volume and condensing it down into 6 or 7 days and all the things that go with that. It's been an interesting time.
It's interesting. Everybody's pounding. Hey, where do you cover? Do you cover New Jersey? Now, are you partnering as well with companies? One of the big issues, I have several executive coaching clients that are in the retail space, restaurant space, and they're making, their entire business transformed into delivering alcohol. I have Cali Barbecue, for example, is delivering fish bowls, which I thought was genius, right? $40
Yep.
fish bowl with a little Chargers fish in it, and people are loving them. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and do you do any of that type of channel partnership with restaurants?
We haven't done it with restaurants historically. We do a lot of work with the big brands. If you think about the Diageo and Bacardis of the world,
Yeah,
all their media spend is primarily on sports or entertainment or hospitality or these big categories. And all of that got turned off 2 months ago. So you have everything from media planning to letting people know that you have certain products or you're aware of those products. I think we've done a lot of work with smaller local brands as well, where maybe most of their sales were in restaurants and all of a sudden that got cut off. And so they're really struggling to let people know that they're available for purchasing. So anybody from, sort of the biggest of the big down to small local companies, we're trying to make sure that people are aware of products and they keep their sales up.
Yeah, I see Damon John's brand there, the Harlem Standard. They're like, meet those guys. So you're going to get a ton of people from Cold Cock to Harlem Standard, all these people. I
Sure.
also saw, by the way, my PR person who sets a lot of my interviews up. She's like a huge fan and user of Saucy app. So no wonder she's not working well at early mornings or late at night. Now I know you're exposed, Alex. You're exposed right here live on here. After, right after we get a vaccine is the point to me that I think there'll be a more stabilized economy. We'll be able to make better business decisions for the long
Agreed.
term. And I kind of coach people on that look, align your capabilities today with what is doing well, align with what's stable, and prepare for the future. Meaning for me, when we have an exact vaccine, when people, where do you see this type of thing? Because I see a transformation in my business that I'm looking at how many people will still actually use Zoom,
Sure.
and I know there'll be more, but where will, that one user that wants to go, where are you seeing, and this is an estimate, that percentage of drop off will be for you?
Yeah, I think, the way that we look at it is our biggest uphill battle for 6 years has just been awareness. Alcohol delivery is a fairly new category. You think about grocery, people have had groceries delivered for 50 years in one medium or another, right? Same thing with food delivery, whether it was I'm calling the store or pagers, or I'm going to an online web portal, or now obviously Postmates and DoorDash and all these companies. So it's not a new behavior, it's just sort of new tricks of the trade. And I think that with alcohol, again, pre 6, 7 years ago in most markets, that just wasn't available. So for years, it's just been letting people know that this is a way that you can shop in the category. And then once they try it and they get to their first or second purchase, then they realize this is so much easier, so much more convenient based on how I usually consume this product. And, so we're seeing unbelievably rapid adoption of new customers right now. I'll tell you, even certain things we're seeing on ad networks that we've never witnessed before. For 6 years, give away some stuff, but our cost per install on Facebook was between $10 and $12. Right now, it's like $1.03. The time to first purchase conversion is condensed down from 14 to 20 days down to about a day or two. So I think that there will definitely be an area of reset, because you know, what we're candidly witnessing is that somebody's buying behavior of alcohol is just all being consolidated down to delivery, right? I buy at a sports stadium or a restaurant or out at dinner with friends, or maybe at a movie theater that serves alcohol, as well as the store, as well as delivery. And all that's just coming to us right now. But I think we're getting an unbelievable amount of user data and customer data and learning how people are shopping in the category. And I think that once we see historically that people get to their second or third purchase, this is how they're buying, and we're seeing that accelerate right now. So even though there will be a reset to a degree, I think that a lot of the buying behavior will have just been introduced to this new method, and it'll stick.
The other issue for me, and I'll let you go, is safety. When Uber came to America, and I love the idea, because I used to say in the NFL, for example, the players union would always provide rides to the players, and then people get upset with them, like when they got a DUI, because they're like, hey, the league provides free car service. And I'm like, first of all, most of my guys are millionaires, right? It's
Yep,
not the $40 to get home, it's the
yep,
planning, right?
yep,
It's
yep,
like they don't make a plan before they go out. So when you've been drinking, it's not a good time to make a plan how you're
yeah,
going to get
yeah,
home.
yep, yep,
What I love about your business is that, where I have had in history, being 52 years old, friends, families, clients, etc., get in trouble, is they're drinking at home and they run out of booze, and what do? Right? They
yep,
go out.
yep,
And now, the easier choice than even going out, even when you're drunk and you're sitting there going, oh man, I don't want to go get this, but I really want another six pack, or wherever people get in trouble. Now it's just boom, Saucy app, and everybody's safe, which is really nice. Have you, guys looked into that as far as the data goes? Is like, those kind of second rounds that you guys are serving, more than just, hey, we're sitting down for Netflix?
No, I think, I mean, that was part of the impetus for the company, right? It was, be sitting at home and having a cocktail or beers or whatever it may be, and you have one or two and run out. And yeah, historically, people, if you don't live next to a grocery store, in many cases, they're like, "Oh, I've only had one. I'll go get in the car." Well, you shouldn't be doing that even if you've had one, right? So,
Yeah.
I think making it convenient for people to say, "Yep, let me just purchase." Our average delivery time is about 29 minutes. So we've been laser focused for the past 6 years, really on logistics. How do we get stuff from point A to point B as fast and reliably as possible? Um, and I think that that's definitely saved a lot of people from a lot of headache over the years.
Yeah, it's a solid business, man, and I'm really proud of you. Uh, if you need any help scaling, this is the time to do it. I look at all the leaks, and as you're looking at those, say, all right. The hardest decision I think that you're going to have to make though is, all right, there's a lot of leaks right now, but it's like drinking through a fire hose. What happens when at least we have a regulator on there? We're not
Sure.
capturing all of the business, but you will still grow within the business that you have. So it may have an equilibrium as well. So super excited to see how you grow. You're sitting in the right place with the great service and great value. Everybody should check out Saucy app. I'm going to start using it because I don't like to go out at all. And I don't drink, but I don't even like to go out and get it for everyone because I don't want to miss the party.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? And 29 minutes, no matter how close the grocery is to me, it's always 20 minutes anyway, right?
Yep.
10 there. And then forget it if somebody's slow at night, it could be 30 or 40, and then you've missed the whole party. So
Yep.
I'm super excited about what you're doing, and I'm super proud of you. Thank you so much for coming on and helping everyone.
Hey, thank you so much. Have a good one. We'll
You
talk
got
soon.
it, my friend. Take
Bye.
care.
See ya.
Awesome. All right, Alex, you're exposed. We got you. Now I know why you wanted to have Saucy app on. What a great service. Check it out. I know Cali Barbecue on there. My boy Sean, Joseph, Harlem Standard. You guys should be reaching out and definitely looking into that. If you haven't checked out Harlem Standard or Cali Comfort Barbecue, the digital hospitality, probably the best brisket I've had. Sorry, Mom. I know you're going to get mad. The Passover crews are like looking at me going, David, it's not the best, Bob. It is. Sorry. Thanks. Anyway, let's get some questions in here. Uh, really good stuff this morning. Here we go. Looking at business. Here we go. How do you use that over analytical trait to your benefit? I so relate to that. Yeah. So timing. Um, if you are OCD, like many of us are, including me, it's about using that energy. So number one, I wake up, right? I don't just sit in bed. I go ahead and catch myself where things grow arms and legs, and I use that as productivity power. Right? So use your OCD as productivity power. That's like a fuel of motivation, the same as fear. So OCD, all that energy that's coming through you, analyzing your brains like this, go ahead and use meditation to elevate your awareness to your frequency. Get into neutral. I saw Trevor Moad was on here, and use that power to focus, right? Get clarity. Take inventory of your values. Start using that energy. You can so destroy yourself. Yeah, Mikey Diamond's in the house. We're going to be live today at 3 o'clock on David and Diamond. The office hours, 3 o'clock. What's up, my brother? But yeah, please use that as productivity power and wake up, get out of bed. Don't just sit there. If you want to go meditate, go for a run, like use that energy because it could either destroy you or enhance you, make it enhance you. It is productivity power. Great question, by the way, man. It took me years. I used to sit and I would worry about the laundry and then exhaust myself for the whole day because my mind was focusing on all the dumb stuff. Can you recommend any domain registrars? Oh, they're all out there. GoDaddy. To me, I just get the domains that I want. I'm not stingy with the domains. I own a lot of domains. You can always cancel them for a few dollars. If there's any 4-letter domains, grab them. They'll be worth something. Uh, Stephanie, welcome. Here we go. How to balance throwing oneself into their job, but still setting boundaries and asserting one's own needs. This could be like one of my employees' questions or a friend of one of my employees. because I feel like they're too afraid to ask this. How to balance throwing oneself into their job, but still setting boundaries and asserting one's own needs. It's exactly that, right? That's why I believe in activity I get paid for and activity I don't get paid for. That's why I believe in being a student in my calendar. Most of my own employees that probably are frustrated, that they're too excited about what we're doing and the growth, and then they feel guilty because they have a family or kids, or buying a house or doing something that's normal. Um, you're not a student in your calendar. And what's great about it being a student calendar is it's so easy to see if the people you're working with are living with are a student of their calendar. It's so easy to see it. And they're literally in their own way, right? They refuse to do, it's like, oh my God, I need to lose weight. I need to lose weight. And they're just eating wrong and they're not working out. And it's like, I'm not really clear on your problem. Look, if you cannot separate the boundaries, you're not a student in your calendar. Go ahead, study your calendar, put attention in and intention to the coincidences you want in your day. So go ahead and schedule in your calendar time with your boyfriend. Go ahead, schedule in your, and what happens is, don't feel guilty. Right? I don't feel guilty when I'm spending 30 minutes minimum with my wife. I don't feel guilty when I spend 30 minutes a day minimum with my 10-year-old. I don't feel guilty telling everybody, hey, I'm off for an hour to take care of my health. Do not bug me. I don't feel guilty. I used to. And then I used to blame the people that I felt guilty about because I love my job, or I wanted to make money, or I really felt bad because I couldn't get this done right away. Stop it. You're just hurting yourself. Stop. And I'm talking to my own employees as well. Just be honest, right? Because what happens is then the people lie about it, right? And the truth vibrates the fastest. Everybody always talks. And so then it's like, why didn't you just tell me you went to the beach? Why didn't you just tell me you were doing that? Right? Because now I can't trust you on other things. So make sure you be a student in your calendar to solve all these problems. How do we go about the best system for calendar, considering I don't have that many things to do? Study the things you don't have in your calendar, right? So I use Outlook, I use a desk calendar, I use my phone to integrate and to align with it, and go ahead and study the free space in your calendar, the white space, the empty space, and think how it's a lens of productivity. How productive can you be? How much value can you provide? Accessibility, how accessible am I to others, and how am I accessing what I want? And gratitude. Use the time to find the light, the love, and the lessons in what you're not doing. All right. Those are the three things. So if, I have barely any space. One of my issues is finding the white space in my calendar. That's one of my what's. Where am I going to eke out some free time in that calendar? Because it is jam packed with productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. But there's plenty of things always to do. If you have nothing to do, go find the light, the love, and the lessons of nothing to do. Simple. All right. Do you have a favorite moment of not quitting that you're most thankful for? Yeah, I do. And it's a stupid moment, but my freshman year in college, I got to play because this unbelievable senior, Todd Stoney, had a broken arm, and they still played him uh, in front of me with a broken arm. That's how good he was. He actually almost made the Raiders. Vance Mueller had made the Raiders. Todd almost made the Raiders. Anyway, my coach, Coach Echeverry, who I love, who was really hard on me. And at the time, I didn't understand. And of course, like everybody that was hard on me when I was young, they're my favorite people on earth. He's one of the best football coaches, students of the game I ever met. If he's coached in the NFL for the Rams, he's coached in Canada at the CFL. Anybody out there looking for a great coach, it's Coach Gary Echeverry. Anyway, I I went to go pick off a pass. He told me do not go for the interception, and I did. And we went down a point with hardly any seconds left. And then I went crying. He was yelling at me, didn't want me in. And the head coach, Coach Weedoff, put me in, and I ended up returning a touchdown and flipping the ball into Echeverry's arms. But, that was the first time I didn't give up. Like I just, football to me is every single time from 7 years old, nobody ever picked me. and they said I couldn't play. They kept on, and I ended up playing in college. I ended up starting in college. Coach Etcheverry said I would never play there, and ended up being the defensive captain my senior year. Um, and I was an average Division III player, so I was not very good. And but I didn't give up, and I used that in business where I am really good. I'm born with quantum ability, with great potential of how to communicate and sell, and emotionally how to carry, and academically through having a law degree and all the business acumen and mentorship. So it's much easier not to give up with what I'm good at than trying to do something that I wasn't. So we'll get into quitting this Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. That's what the Road to Revenue topic is this week. Catch the replays of all the other weeks of motivation versus inspiration, all the great things we've talked about, the ego uh, practice that we had. There's tons of stuff that's out there. Check it out. What are the most important daily practices? All right. Number one, take inventory of your values, personal, experiential, giving, and receiving values. Two, ask and attract. Make sure you're asking as many people as you can in person, on the phone, via email, social media, radio, print, TV. Ask them every day how you can be of value of service. Ask an open-ended question. Use leading questions to get to the point where you can say, would it help you if? The third thing is be a student of your calendar. Study with the lens of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. Study with attention and intention for the coincidences that you want, what you have planned, what you don't have planned, and your sleep. Don't forget, sleep's the number one habit that we share. 8 hours a day, most people spend there. With that clear connection, your pipe is clear, right? When you go to sleep, the subconscious and unconscious mind will allow things to come to you more rapidly and accurately when it is clear. So make sure that you do that. Do it now. If you do something now, 100% of the things that you do now get done. If you don't do it now, put it into your calendar, prioritize by what's most important first, and then finally practice ending fear. Those are the 5 things that you should do daily. Values, ask and attract, student your calendar, do it now, and practice ending fear. How do you deal with coworkers trying to micromanage your projects? Communicate. Right? Communicate with the coworkers that are micromanaging your projects. Try to understand why they're micromanaging your project. Collaborate with them. Command them. Work with. Command. Work with. Not demand. Command. Work with them. Be receptive. What you resist persists. You don't have to resist somebody trying to micromanage you. Micromanagement is a form of help. So try to understand what help they're giving and why, and see how you can collaborate and command, work with them in order to effectuate getting things done more efficiently, effectively, with statistical success. The energy that you put into resisting them is the same energy that the OCD person was asking about earlier. It will wear you out, instead of just allowance and learning and understanding and seeing exactly how you can collaborate and command. How often do you visualize? Every day, through meditation and throughout the day at my highest frequency. I'm visualizing, canceling out the negative thoughts, words, actions, attacking thoughts, so that I can clearly depict in my mind alignment with the values that I have, what I want. I'm a huge what person, right? I'm constantly thinking about what I want and becoming inspired to do it, and then creating, connecting the dots backwards, the strategy, awareness, and discipline in order to effectuate the materialization of the what, not the why. The why is very obvious to me. I'm always connected to the why. The why is to help everything I'm connected to, allowing it to come through me with appreciation. Cancel those negative thoughts. Absolutely. Let's take another one of these questions. Thank you very much for adding these. How do you measure success? Is it a metric or a feeling? Both. So there's a blend of success. There's an aggregate. I would say that my thermostat in life was money, how much I had. Now that's just an ingredient in the mercury in my thermostat of life. It's an ingredient in the thermostat of my life, and my overall life thermostat is how I feel. That's why I'm trying to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, because happy is the thermostat that I have. And what are all the ingredients that are in the mercury to raise the temperature of happiness in life? One of them is money. One of them is helping people. One of them is fun, right? And I'm trying to coordinate those within the alignment of my values in order for that mercury to rise, so that I'm happier and happier. And not only am I happier and happier, but I'm rising it, elevating others to elevate myself and my temperature by elevating others, because happiness is the greatest ability to raise temperatures, right? It is the greatest disease. It's the one that's spread by witnessing it. It simply can be witnessed and raise the temperature of your thermostat by witnessing it. And it strengthens all of our being. It strengthens our mind, body, and soul. It actually strengthens our immune system. It will protect you against other diseases that are at a detriment or have negative energy. Fair. Let's see. Let's go live again. Hey, Kate. Happy is your thermostat. I know. That's my new soulmate. She's awesome. I had a great conversation with her last night. Super excited to have you here. Let's go live and see who. Looking here. Friends. Let's see here. How are you? Let's take one more question and then maybe go live. Can you talk more about ferocious stop? What does that look like and feel like? Yeah. So thank you, Chris. Ferocious Buddha, right? The ferociousness is clearing the corrosion and interference between allowing what is already existing to come to you, right? It is the ability to stop the corrosion or interference when it starts accumulating or aggregating. And that occurs through ego. The need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be separate, inferior, superior, angry, frustrated, anxious, guilty, all of these things that create interference to our happiness, that lower the temperature of that thermostat of happiness. And so what do? We have to be ferocious to clear that interference. We have to be ferocious to stop more interference and more corrosion to grow. And so the hardest thing to do, and try it out today, is when you're in ego-based consciousness, to be ferocious enough to stop, right? So you gotta be ferocious enough to be aware, gosh, I'm angry. I'm saying things I don't mean. Gosh, I'm feeling really unworthy. Gosh, I'm feeling very insecure. Gosh, I'm scared. Oh, I feel really guilty. Gosh, you gotta be very ferocious to, one, just be aware of that, and two, to stop. Don't accelerate and allow it to grow arms and legs. Don't accelerate in the wrong trajectory. When you accelerate in the wrong trajectory, you're just creating a bigger void, a bigger shortage. See that? Big shortage and void. You don't want to do that. You want to make room for what you want by clearing the interference and corrosion out of the way, by stopping, dropping, which is the Buddha part, breathing, and then rolling. Because when you are in ego-based consciousness, your mind, body, and soul on fire, and you got to do what your mommy told you to do when you're on fire. Stop, drop, and roll. Stopping is ferocious. Dropping is the Buddha. And then rolling is the law of Goya, get off your ass. And if you do those things, the law of attraction will take place, meaning that what you want, knowing what you want, and then allowing it to come to you by clearing the interference. At Fresh Vine Wine. All right, let's see if you're here. Make a request to see you. We're here. It is the wine day. We are drinkers today, it looks like. Wealthy Goddess Movement. How are you doing? Stephanie, still here. Hello.
David, good morning.
How are you?
I'm really good, man. Thank you for having me on today. How about yourself?
I'm doing phenomenal. I'm just so interested in what's going on in your business and having you share it with all the great entrepreneurs here. It's been a good distribution day. So love for you to give a little background on what you do, any questions you have for me, or things that we can learn.
We're just talking about Fresh Fine Wine today. We're talking about a space of a healthy, active lifestyle brand that we've been working on for a little over a year. We just got the release out a couple of months ago, and what we've been trying to do is just crack into the, into that healthy wine space, but also, the caveat being that we make it delicious. At the end of the day, through all the research and all the focus groups and the fun we've been having, really two things came out of it, David. You can comment on this, but treat me like an adult and give me something that's delicious so that I can be excited about, kind of a reward at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love the concept of accountability, of treating people like an adult. I think the energy of your product is one of accountability, of saying, look, we're enjoying something that's been enjoyed since the beginning of time. Why is it that in other places where we treat people like adults, they act like adults, and when we treat you like a child, you act like a child? What is it that makes it so healthy, though? Because obviously everything in moderation, to me, is a healthy alternative. Wine itself, you know, one glass of wine or one glass of whiskey, one glass of tequila, I think is very healthy, in moderation in all things. What makes this wine more healthy?
You know, it's I mean, what we did was just take a page, and this kind of goes off your point, you know, out of the European playbook, which they've arguably been doing for millennia. But we look at it just from a natural winemaking perspective. There's no weird additives or silly stuff going on there. We pay attention to what we do in terms of, you know, growers that we work with, you know, in terms of vineyards and the way that they set up. And you know, we sort of go back to an older school way of life, which is just you know, farming really, and bringing something to bear, you know, from my higher end background of farming to something that's what we would consider a very affordable luxury at Fresh Vine. So when you look at you know, how our wines are made, how do we get to that low cal, low carb, low sugar space? You know, frankly, you know, adding to that it's vegan and that it's keto. It's a fairly simple formula, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, and one that's been utilized, like you said, around the world, without the mass production preservatives and artificial things that are done in a lot of wines in America. In fact, you know, traveling the world myself, not as big as a wine drinker in America as I am when I travel abroad, just because, you know, I'm a very sensitive system that knows the way I feel, right? I was saying earlier, I don't get sick, but I feel better in the morning when I drink in Europe, and I feel worse in the morning when I drink in America. Why?
Well, we're trying to dispel that. We're trying to target people exactly like you, David. So we want to bring to the forefront that, yeah, you can absolutely enjoy wine out of California without the, you know, without the after effects of the mornings. And really, you know, it comes down to alcohol at that point, and also sugar. So, you know, we've taken care of both of those things. You know, you'll get all the flavor that you want from the alcohol in our wines, but in terms of us being in that space where you've got a dry wine, that's where that hangover comes in the next day, or that sort of slow feeling.
Yeah, I'm not into the hangover. In that space right now, you know, obviously the alcohol business itself is you know, blooming, let's just say. What are some of the things strategically that you're doing as an entrepreneur to take advantage of the atmosphere for awareness and building your brand right now, so that you can carry it through when more people are visiting restaurants and grocery stores and other places?
It's a great question, and you know, because we're an active lifestyle brand, what we looked at trying to leapfrog the normal system of distribution in the wine world, which can be wonderful if you're in and can be a hindrance if you're not. And so we decided to partner with sports teams, with professional sports teams, you know, across the country. Our fledgling partnerships, which we're very proud of and super stoked about, started off with the Washington Wizards and the Capitals, and also further Capital One Arena. So you get off the subway and you know, see us digitally marketed there. But you know, when this space comes back, you know, online, so to speak, and folks are flooding in and out of those gates, you'll also see us around the arena. Our creative director has, you know, designed these gorgeous bars that you'll be able to walk up to and grab a glass of fresh vine. But further, David, we also wanted to do some community outreach. So we wanted to make sure that we took care of the communities that surround these teams that we're partnering with. And so, for instance, you know, the DC Kitchen, we've donated over 30,000, you know, meals to date. Our partnership with the Tampa Bay Rays in Florida, we're working with Feeding Tampa Bay there, over 40,000 you know, meals donated there too. So, you know, as we branch out, as we announce in the coming weeks, a partnership, our first NFL partnership with a team here in California, you know, we're also working with them to get the language down. So, I mean, how do you get community outreach, and how do you get, you know, eyeballs on your product? And so, you know, what we're doing is and again, this goes to the initial part of your question, but it's, you know, how do you sort of set the pace for when we reopen as a society? And it's been a lot easier to garner a meeting
Yeah.
with folks at that level. You know, and again, we have a lot of folks behind the scenes at Fresh Vine that make me look awful smart, but that's what we're doing. You know, we're looking at the bigger picture in the U.S. and how do we get that messaging out there, and you know, with some staying power too.
Yeah, I can see Zach Leonsis being all over this there with the Wizards and Capitals, and he's one of my great co-mentees, and Al Guido, I think the Niners, and that side would be great. AEG and Russ Silvers, and
Yes.
any of those be more than happy to help you, because I know people that are healthy, happy, and on the digital side of distribution are going to do really, really well as we come through this to the other side. Sports is going nowhere. NFL is going nowhere. Maybe viewed differently in person for a little while, but absolutely won't be viewed on TV any differently, and digitally in the handheld. So last thing, real quick. Best piece of advice as a successful entrepreneur. What should a young entrepreneur be focusing in on during this time?
I think the biggest thing is, well, two things really: cash flow, understanding what that looks like and what your needs are, while focusing on your margins. But I also feel like you've got to know your peer group. You've got to know who you're marketing to, in addition to your peer group. So in other words, if I'm targeting Dave Meltzer, then I need to know how you walk, talk, act, think, and what your consumer habits are. So I just think empowering your organization with enough with enough data, so that when you do make mistakes, you have the opportunity to pivot in a hurry. So yeah, I think data, information is king, and I think cash flow is right there too.
Yeah, I love that stability, and then spectrum, right? Like, I see the biggest mistake of a lot of entrepreneurs and businesses, brands, media, like even big brands, is like they try to talk what I call to the 87%. And I call that spectrum like the train wreck spectrum. If that's your audience, that's cool. People who love to watch a train wreck, you can get elected to president by, pitching that spectrum. But most businesses have a particular spectrum, and there's millions and millions of people in there's 4.2 billion people and growing at an exponential rate. So, just plucking off your spectrum of millions and millions will make you one of the biggest brands and most successful companies. And I think you've articulated that so well. Where can everybody find you guys now?
Freshvinewine.com. We can ship to 42 states. We're currently actively doing that. Yeah. And also, follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, clearly, and Pinterest. But yeah, and David, thanks so much for your advice today. It goes a long way. I really appreciate it. And thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, no, thank you. And I'll be on your website today ordering some healthy wine for myself. So
excellent. Thank you so much.
I can enjoy my time at the beach when I get to go there. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Amen,
Thanks,
brother.
Jamie.
Take care of yourself.
See you soon. Thank you.
Thanks so
Kathy
much.
I saw you there, Kathy. Thank you so much for everything you do. One of the best PR people that I know. She's on here somewhere. So thank you for joining me. And I miss you. I know you like a little bit of wine yourself there, young lady. So hopefully everything's going well in Arizona, and great to see you there. Reach out to her if you have some digital PR needs. She's worked with the biggest and best brands, and is just an incredibly abundant, wonderful person. Very, very talented. A lot of PR people talk the talk. Kathy walks the walk, and there she is. Love you. All right. Perfect. Let's take one more question, and then I got a quick speaking engagement. And let me see here. How do you handle not getting support from loved ones even after asking? Hey, they don't owe you anything. Love yourself. Learn to love you. When you love yourself, those people can help you, will help you, and keep asking. But they don't have an obligation to help you. Just because somebody loves you doesn't mean they have to give you good advice. And two, doesn't mean they need to help you. Help yourself. There'll be people out there that sit in the situation that you want to be in that can help you. They don't have to be related to you. Nobody owes you anything. Right now, if you're under 18 and people aren't helping you, then go seek, help. It's a different situation. But people that are responsible for you under 18, but after 18, you're on your own, and you're blessed that people that love you help you. If they're not helping you, then we have to work on why they're not helping you if they love you. But go ahead, find people that sit in the situation that you want. You're owed nothing. Learn to love you. Learn to love you and vote for what you want. All right, everyone, I got to jump to an interview. Thank you so much. I will talk to you later. Join me on Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Invite your friends, family, and associates. We are talking about quitting. Don't quit on Friday. Road to Revenue. Join me. It's free. Reach out, 949-298-2905 or dmeltzer.com/training. Reach out, everybody. Thank you.